Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Katawa Shoujo, another series of Katawa Shoujo. I don't think we load here. I think we just start. Oops. Oh my gosh. I'm everywhere. Okay. Welcome. My name is Nux. I know I don't do too many intros. I forget to. And also, I try to just read naturally. So, I do it in like an hour or two block, and then all the things sort of blend together to me. But to you guys, each new episode, each new series of episodes every 3 or whatever is different. So yeah, sorry if I don't introduce and exit each episode with, an intro or an outro. I've been trying to think of ways to incorporate it, but I don't know how. Anyway, if you're new to the series, welcome. This is a fun, lovable game of Katawa Shoujo, a visual novel where we date girls in this special high school. I don't really know the word for it, but for disabled students. And this series, we're going to be with Emmy. So again, if you're new here, I will be using a guide only until I get the route of Emmy, and then there's no more guide. Whatever ending I get is whatever ending I get. But this is our 4th girl out of 5, I believe. So we can just choose whatever we want here. Why? Of course not. That's why I asked. Right. Let's go then. We've already read through this once, so I'm gonna try and skip it. But yeah, let me just edit to the next choice, I guess. Okay, so I think it doesn't matter. It says it doesn't matter, so we're just gonna do this just so we can get our choices back, because we did lose all of our data from Hanako and Rin, because I had to switch to a new PC, sadly. I will eventually get them back just so we can see that full screen of all the girls, but I have to have enough free time to click through a whole playthrough. So it's going to be a little crazy. But, it is what it is. Okay, I was just skipping through this, but I don't remember if we actually went through this, because I remember when the only option that we got to when we got to the read a book part was that we never got to the read a book part. So maybe this is the start of a conversation that we haven't had, so I'm just going to read through it anyway. The teacher scratches his cheek absentmindedly, looking very unresponsive. This thing's only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with someone even if they're blind or something. Okay, so yeah, there's you have no plans. I consider joining a club, but I don't know what kind of club would interest me. Go observe a meeting of someone else's club. It might pique your interest. I guess. But I don't know how to continue from there. Matilda looks at me in a way that makes me quickly want to take the words back to avoid a conversation. But I can't, so I have to forge ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people. I mean, the other students. I'm trying to talk to people and everything, so it's not like I'd be isolated or anything. I just don't know what to think about. The disabilities. It's it feels that I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them, and it's weird to ignore them. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Teacher scratches his cheek absent-mindedly, looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with people, even if they are blind or something. Try to look behind the superficial. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid behind whatever they might seem at first glance. He says the same thing Yuko did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for example, Shizune's deafness when the only way to communicate to her is to talk through Misha? Or Hanako. It's not like you can ignore her face. But I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Teacher, Misha crashes in, handing straight in enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to wake up the dead from their graves. She starts towards the teacher's desk, bouncing in her staff hands, energetically swinging her rhythm. I think we've been here. I don't know. Muto, visibly dismayed at the interruption of Misha in general, slumps in his chair. Mikado. Misha stops in her tracks and looks around cluelessly as if she's sensing from his tone that something is wrong, but he has no idea what. We also never learned what was wrong with Misha. I don't know what's wrong with her. Did she just come to the school to learn sign language as a trade? I don't know. She doesn't have any visible disability, nor does she have any disability we talked about. She's just here. Yes. We've talked about the volume control before. Yes. But she doesn't lower her voice at all. And the teacher just rubs his eyes. So, what is it? We need help. We are running out of supplies in the festival stands. This is a distress. She waves a pink slip of paper she's holding around. So, go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that? Plywood. Wait, what? Oh, so get more supplies. What's the problem with that? Plywood. Plywood's always the problem. Last time we wanted more, and there was only a little, but this time we took it all and went with that. Now there's like none left in there. So, do you know where there is some? I don't understand. How would I know? Chi-chan, I mean, the president thought the teacher would know if there was any plywood. Was she wrong? Muto looks like he's in great pain, frowning with his entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicate is terrible. Like looking at a man being tortured by drilling his skull open while blasting pop music at full volume at the same time. I'm afraid I have no idea if there's any plywood in the school, let alone if there would be any. What should I do? Perhaps try to find Mr. Nomiya? I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry him from his cold, dead hands, but that's a different matter. I don't have time, we're so busy. She holds her head with both hands in her... What? She holds her head with both of her hands, looking as despairing as it possible as a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumples the note she's holding against her hair. I shouldn't even be fetching these things. There's so much to do, and we're falling behind schedule. Muto looks at her gravely, and then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't really fit his face. I wish he didn't. Yeah, and then he tells us to go. I don't know. I feel like we've been through here. I remember it like we have. So I'm just going to assume that part. We still haven't got to read a book, even though it says to in this little thing I've got here. So, okay. So, this is the first choice that matters. Can you promise me to be more serious about this? We need to say, yes, I will be more serious. I promise, definitely. And we have gone through this in another route. I think it was Rin's, but whatever. We'll read it again. It's important. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, now that's more like it. If you go to school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet a spy who probably has no qualms about offering consultation if you want to chalk a bit. Consultation. See you around. He leaves with a wave of his... I forgot Rin was here. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer as I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly leaning against the hallway wall, staring at the pale lighting fixtures on the ceiling. And when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting your medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? Comes out more accusatory than I intended. That's literally like his entire route with Rin, too. He's so accusatory to her. Always lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about, I just met her, and I don't know her. It's none of her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality, too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty. Can we just skip these now? Yeah. After all, I'm going to start taking care of myself, and I can't afford to slack around. I'll start from the basics. Basics which include keeping the rest of my body in shape along with what little I can do to strengthen my heart. Maybe then I can go back to doing something approaching a normal life. Or at least something where I'm less likely to fall over dead at any minute. I'm surprised to discover that I'm not the only one present at the track. Not just that, but it's a face I've seen before. The prosthetic-legged girl who bowled me in over the hallway yesterday is running on the track, lithely. Like a half-mechanical gazelle. What was her name again? It was a short one, but I can't remember. What a weird thing to say. She seems to be running laps on a somewhat easy lope, her prosthetic legs clacking rhythmically on the hard track surface. I wonder what the reason she has for running this early in the morning. Maybe it's something akin to mine, and the nurse is oppressing the poor girl to jog, just like he is oppressing me. I certainly wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my health, and prompting me to do so. And even with the things being like they are, it's only because I want to get out of the way early. The fact that I would be less likely to encounter someone who would witness my pitiful attempts to get in shape was merely a happy accident. I'd leave, but it seems that my former assailant noticed me on her last lap. She waves at me cheerfully and jogs over. Good morning. Your name was Sisao, right? She grins, seemingly pleased that she'd remembered my name. You may not remember me. Emmy, I knocked you over in the hall yesterday. Miss Ibarazaki? She imitates Misha, imitating Shizune, failing to get the same kind of subdued lilt into her high-pitched voice. How could I forget such a blunt introduction? Emmy has the decency to look vaguely apologetic for a moment before giggling. Yeah, sorry about that. Again. Just to say again, I think I've said this before in Rin's route, but they seem like the most compatible as far as like an actual couple goes, the way they like banter back and forth. At least they did in Rin's route. I don't know if they will in hers, but they felt like an actual couple just by like normal people standards. Well, as long as you don't make a habit of it, I suppose I'll be fine. Great. I'm not sure she realized I was joking. So the spy consultant the nurse was talking about, is that actually you? That's right. Oh, I was expecting someone from the nursing staff, to be honest. What, are you saying I don't look like I could be a spy? No, this is more like a relief. I was afraid he would have someone watch my every move. Unless you are here to do exactly that. Nope, I'm here for my own reasons. The nurse just asked me if I'd seen a messy-haired transfer student who looks like he's kind of lost around the track. So, why are you down here? Amy strikes a dramatic pose. Training! For what? Track! I see. So you're on the track team then. Emmy nods enthusiastically. Yep, I'm one of the better runners too. And modest about it too. Hey, you should join up. It's good exercise, you know? I think that pretty much any activity is out of the question for me. No, I'm not even sure I really like running all that much. Plus, I'm not into organized sports, you know? It's true, I've never really gotten that much into soccer. I mean, I'd run around with my friends and all, but that was really the only reason I ever played. Are we gonna see Sal play soccer this route? That'd be fun. It wasn't for the glory to be found on the field, that's for sure. Amy seems to understand my meaning. I see. Not into the whole organization thing. But now that you're here, I guess we're going to run into each other, huh? What? I guess, sure. She seems pleased. Are you gonna warm up? Real men don't warm up. Oh no, you should always warm up. That is how. She scolds me enthusiastically, but then smiles and leans closer. I hate warming up too. She laughs suddenly. She's really cute. Heck, I don't even have to stretch my legs. As if to confirm her statement, she bounces up and down a couple of times, giving a passing impression of standing on a pair of springs. Her leg blades seem to be quite elastic. Let's go. So we both take off around the track, and I immediately see that she wasn't lying about being good at running. Emmy moves fluidly, throwing herself into the run with a sort of wild abandon. I find myself concentrating more on running properly. Hands spread, right? And something about hitting the balls on your feet rather than the heels. Try to match my stride to Emmy's, but it's pretty difficult. Apparently I'm not very good at it. Maybe Emmy could help me with that sometime. I'm not really feeling up to more than a couple of laps today, and slow to walk pretty quickly. I'm really bad at running track. I think, like, running 4 miles is what we had to do a lot in high school, because I think that was the mile. And I was always very slow and very winded, and I throw up. I throw up very often when I run, because I think I don't breathe correctly or something. It happens all the time. Emmy keeps running. She doesn't seem to notice I've stopped until she passes me a second time. She quickly skids to a halt, breathing steadily in contrast to my own somewhat gasping demeanor. Finished already? I hang my head ruefully. Yeah, I'm never in really good shape right now. Emmy nods and then grins at me again. She seems to do a lot of smiling. Well, the important thing is that you started, right? Next time, you'll just have to try to hold out longer, and then longer, and longer, and eventually you'll be great. I'll keep that in mind. But I think right now I'm gonna go get ready for class. Shouldn't you? She shrugs, unconcernedly. Yeah, I got plenty of time. I notice that she's not wearing a watch. Are you sure? Another careless shrug. Not really, but I've got to finish my routine. See you later, Sal. Yeah, see ya. I'm not sure whether this morning's experiment was a success or a failure, but I'll admit that I do feel slightly good about getting out here this morning. It's true. I used to try to run, like twice a week or something, and every time I would run, I would feel so exhausted, but I'd feel good about myself. I'd feel like I was actually accomplishing something. I'm gonna try to get into it again when I move or something, maybe. And like Emmy said, I just need to keep it in order just to get better, right? Practice makes perfect or something like that. It's nice, at least, to feel like I've taken some semblance over control of my own health. I'll have to try to keep this up.